Sometimes it just sounds mellow. They can call it mellow yellow, but it's mellow. Gets us into the frequency. Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? It's Friday. So good to see you. You've made it through another week. Hey, Big Al is in the room. How are you doing? Hello, David Barry. And to all the moderators and to all you fabulous light beings of the free thinking realm. How are y'all? Just looking out there and seeing what everyone is doing. Gilbert's in the room, and Robert, and D Unknown, and B3, and Lost in Space, and Susie Q, and yeah. So I don't know if y'all heard or tried to listen to last night. You know, when you do live radio, sometimes the gremlins get in there. Hey, Twisted Isby, how you doing, Darth? Darth, good to see you. And Michelle, hello. Favor be unto you, and let me invoke favor upon everyone this day. May it abound in your life in every way. May it meet you 360 degrees, no matter where you look, no matter where you turn. Favor is there to greet you. Nothing missing, nothing broken be in your life. So, happy birthday to everyone's having one. Yeah, congratulations. You made it. Another cycle on the rock. Tonight, I'm going to be on Brian's channel over at Milky Way Messenger. I think it's tonight at 10, 8 my time. Looking forward to that. Should be pretty far out. So, while we're talking, allow me, if you would, give me 1 second here. I want to get out of this and go over to here. Okay. Get used to it. This is how we're going to be hanging today. So, to those of you who have had some difficulty comprehending the fact that our North Pole is a moving, where's the proof? This is NOAA. They don't update these now as regularly they used to, but this one's pretty cool. I left the link in the description, and you can play the bottom bar down there, and you'll see for yourself. Now, what I found interesting was on this very same map, they are tracking the South Pole. Folks, the South Pole is out here now. And you can begin to imagine how much faster the South Pole is going to reach the new pole. It's in this area right here in Indonesia. In fact, in this area, they've taken the buoys down. Yeah. Don't like the data that the buoys were showing, because the data was showing something really, really big, very upheaval was taking place. So, but anyway, there you go. Check it out for yourself. And you can see they stopped at 2000, I believe. And if you go over to Suspicious Observers, you know, and I'll make sure to leave another link that there's another one you can do, but it's well off Antarctica and heading north, as they would say. She's heading north, and north she is, in fact, heading. So, yeah, dig that, huh? That is weird, but it's true. It's happening. And, yeah. A lot of speculation. Who knows? I don't know. As we discussed yesterday, if reincarnation is real, and if we incarnate, reincarnate, whatever it might be, and if it's been here, And I guess we've seen it before. And in the book that we're going to go through, the Adam and Eve story, you know, when you start getting into chapters 2, 3, and 4, I mean, you sit there, and I was up to pretty late last night reading it, and we're seeing it. The effects that they said that would be, that they, and how they knew, I don't know. I mean, they were pretty accurate. Maybe they had something that was telling them, but it appears that with the magnetopause weakening over the Earth, with the poles now well on their way, we're going to see a shift. It's already shifted. It's just going to be, are we going to be on our side? You know, right now you could say that if you look at everything, it'd be here, then it's going to be over here. And appears that's happening. And the thing that's we're going to read for ourselves in the group, they said that we would start going crazy. Human beings. Crime would be increasing. Many other social ills. And you know, all you have to do is look in Washington and you're saying, yeah, it's really getting weird, folks. So take it as you want, but there you are. Weather extremes, folks. And, you know, I think we're in this. You can see they started noticing the movement back in the 1700s. So here we are in 2019, soon to be 2020. Yeah, we've been on this roller coaster for a while. It's just that our ticket got called at this particular time. And so, you know, it's, you know, crapshoot, you know, who's going to be around to see the real big one. And I hope that, you know, others start learning about this. Climate change is upon us, but it's nothing man can do. Man screwed. Yeah. Man is insignificant to the forces that we're talking about here. It's anyway. So there we go. Take it for what you shall. Now, we're going to have some fun today, and I want to pull up some of the more interesting shots from SETI back in the day. And I'm pulling this up. Excuse me. So here we go. I often found it interesting what Earth and Venus look like, you know, when you get Earth in where, as you can see here with stereo B, at one time, Earth is quite remarkable, as is Venus. Venus is pretty strange, but I don't know if you've ever seen this, but this is, you know, the planets. Now, I'm stopping this so you can begin to understand that, you know, when you're viewing this, you're going, well, all right, what the hell is going on with this planet, but not on this planet? This planet is Earth. This planet is Venus. And check it out. Isn't that one weird? What happened here? And when you do the blow-ups on these and you do the steel frames and you take the steel frames, and there's some strange stuff going on. And again, you can see for yourself. Now, this is the sun over here. So this is why Venus is to the left. But what is happening to Earth, folks? And this was in, looks like 2007. You can see the date down there. December. So that one is a strange one. You know, you go, okay. So what's up with that, huh? We also saw something that I have always marveled at. Yeah, and let me pull this next one up. One day Zoom will get this where we can do multifunction. I love our galaxy when we can actually see pictures of our galaxy. Here's a good one. This is 2008. This is the outer planets, primarily, the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and the rest of them are pretty small. But what I love about this one is, this is Jupiter, I think. This is the galactic core of our, and I always marveled when we look up into the heavens, from Earth, we only see the light pollution is so bad, you can't really see what the true sky looks like anymore. But this one I always found just quite spectacular. There we go. Well, I didn't get it all the way through. And you can see the density, folks, of the stars. It says it's beyond comprehension almost. So there you go. It's remarkable. It's mesmerizing to me. Such intensity of light in such a defined region of the sky. Those are the things that, I always thought was pretty cool. And so let me see. I may have another one. These were the days when, I was learning. Everybody is learning. Oh, yeah, this is going to be a good one. So we're going to be talking about comets. And I want to show you what a normal comet looks like. We have them all the time hitting our sun. There's the Kreutz, debris field. But this is, I think this is P67P. I believe that this is April 2007. And that's the sun to the left. Quite amazing when you see how violent our star is. It's not the quite, and you can really see this comet right here. There were actually two comets that came across, and we'll replay this again for everybody. So there's the first one. There was a time when we were just in a real nice place of seeing. Now, watch the next one coming up. Here it is. I'll just give you, here it is, coming right up here. And watch it. And look how its tail is being literally shredded by the solar wind. Look at that. You don't usually see them like, well, you can see how well defined the tail of that comet was, whereas this other one coming in, it's really screwy. And again, the density of the star field behind here, and here you go. You can see it again coming in, and you can see as the solar wind hits it, that the tail is obviously being impacted by it. Quite remarkable. I just, I just find these things amazing. I want to show something else too, since we're having just a little bit of going back into my archives to show you sometimes how people just don't remember things. I have told you about the Nigen. The Nigen are real. They exist. I believe they are an advanced, I'll just say it. I think they're a derivative of humankind, mankind. They may be a totally different species, but they're obviously very intelligent. So many of you probably recall Fukushima. This is taken directly off of Japan. You can see NHK Live. This was being broadcast to all the world. The earthquake has hit. The tsunamis is wrecking devastation, death. But what it also brought out was some of the more interesting other phenomenon. So watch the debris field, and you can see this water is moving quickly. I think this is already, I don't know, a quarter mile. Now watch as we come in here. You can see in this footage the tsunami coming in, and there were, I think, 3 altogether. But the footage, folks, sometimes we just don't get a grasp of what Earth can do. One of the things why I review this footage quite often is to remind myself that if the Earth decides to change, nothing any of us can do. And you can see how quickly death is approaching. And in this video, you don't actually see any bodies because it's so wrapped up into the debris, but pay attention to how fast this water is moving. And not only is it moving inland, at, I think, one point it was over 30 miles an hour. It's also rising very quickly, very fast. And so when we read these reports, these books, the one particularly, the Adam and Eve story, where they talk about devastation taking place in hours. If there's one thing the Fukushima tsunami and earthquake event drastically showed, even as the Indonesia earthquake and tsunami was the one that hit Japan, was how in literally an hour's time, everything is gone. And we're going to continue because as we begin to watch, we're seeing mass devastation here. Many of these people, although you can see there's some right there that, look at that whole building is about to be moved right off of its foundation, folks. And when you think about, they had a warning, but the warning was not near enough. This is one of the harbors. This one is dramatic footage. This particular village, a lot of people perished. That is a huge tuna packing facility over on the other side. There's the fire truck with the tsunami warning going around. And you can see it looks so, well, there, you know, you look at that and you're going, all right, well, it looks like a little wave, right? What is that, 6 inches? No, it's not 6 inches. And it's not so much the maligning as you see the wave coming in, it's what's pushing the wave. And if you look at the boats to the left of here, you will begin to see those are some pretty big boats. They are about to be smacked. And just give this time. All right, let me stop that. I did not know what that was. So little commercial there, I guess. So here we're picking back up. This seawall, I believe is, I think it's 15, 20 feet. Watch what happens here, folks. Remember those boats over there, those ships? They're not going to be able to take the pressure. And this is the ocean rising up. I'm showing this because I know I read the comments. And there are many people, and there you go. There's the wicket. That's the first. That's a huge boat, folks. That's not a small boat. It got literally ripped from the mooring. And guess where it's heading? The ocean's out towards the mountain out there. It's coming in. And I just want this to, again, to demonstrate how quickly the ocean can begin. And there's another one. You can see it's inundated now. The whole pier is underwater. And here's the boat. Person actually filming this will turn the camera. And then here comes another trawler. You can see there's a fishing trawler coming in. And it just keeps coming. It's not a single wave. It's literally just exponential. Now he'll move the camera to the right here. I think obviously he made this when he lived, the person filming this. Now you can see the seawall on the other side on the tuna fishing processing. It's about gone. This car here, I don't understand what that person was thinking about, nor this one. But you can see these people are unaware of the disaster that is literally on the other side of that wall. Now, this water eventually, once it hits a resistance like land, well, you know what's going to happen. I marvel. And you can see the cars moving all through the seaport town in here. And it doesn't stop. This is like a river, but this is the ocean. And he's pointing out that this whole factory over here is gone. It's getting inundated. And you can see the second wave coming in. There's even more waves coming in behind this. It just continues and continues. I'm going to advance it now. Okay, let's get back here. You waited to see this, so we get the commercial. Tried to cut that out. You can see the huge light or crane. It's gone. Now you can see where the fish factory had extended out. Look where the boats are. They're coming right in to where the factory is. So the seawall has been breached there. You can see that now. Here comes the second wave coming in. And we've watched this. This is virtually in real time. So you can see how this thing just continues to unfold. And now it's all over. This is where, and the force of the water is what, again, I know maybe many of you haven't ever seen this footage before, but listen, we're talking about a pole reversal. We're talking about the oceans rising up, upheavals of seismic activity. And this is about as real as it can get when it begins to sink into your mind what happens. And I've got footage of 2 miles inland where the destruction just continued. Many people lost their lives here. And you can see how it's just relentless. You would think that the water would have, letting up, but no, it's, now you can really see the onslaught and how fast. There's that trawler. Interesting enough that it made it over the seawall, isn't it? Not sure, but I think if There it's going to be, apparently it took on more damage than what it looked like. So what I want to get to so I'm going to stop share here for a second, is to get to where I want you to see probably some of the more and I know that this sounds depressing, but folks, I think we just have to realize what is taking place here. All right. So we had seen the front part of where all the water was backing up. This is now where the water is just continuing to push inland. And you can see the effect here as well. Once the water breaches the seawater, the ocean is coming. It can't be stopped. And look at this. Now imagine if you had a shop right there. That was probably not a bad place maybe to have a shop, but what amazes me is how quickly it's gone. Look at that. And so once it meets resistance of the building or wherever it is, well, it just causes it to find its weakest point. In this case, I guess that was a garage. I don't know. Now, and you can see how quickly the buildings cannot withstand the water pressure. They begin to get completely removed from their foundations. Now, I'm going to stop this again, and I want to fast forward it, what I'm doing down here. I won't show you the part that is really very depressing, and it is just the destruction, to show you how bad it can get. So this is, I believe we're now, and I'm looking here on my notes, I think we're now almost 2.5 miles inland. And this is what's continually to come in. And folks, it didn't stop for, I think, 8-9 hours. Now, this person's running for their life. They're running up a mountain, a hill, because you can see the terrain in Japan. And, you know, they're running for their lives. What amazes me is that they actually stood back and took the pictures. Now, this is another person. This is more farmland. And the ocean is just moving in. So anyway, enough of this. Although I did want to show you the sea creatures themselves. They're the Nigen, and I think I may have that on another roll. I do, excuse me. So allow me. Oh no, this is, I won't show you that. This is, yeah, that one gets a little intense. So anyway, enough of that, huh? I know. It's, you know, some people don't want to see that, but folks, that happened. It really did. And we have such short-term memories that we didn't think anything about it. Now, they say that comets are a harbinger of a bad omen for Earth. I don't know how many of you what you were doing in 2007. Allow me to get this pulled up. But, as he says, but, here we go. So I am going to show you some remarkable footage that, well, you saw what normal comets are, correct? You know, saw that. Well, I'm about to show you something. Comet McNaught. Odd thing. This comet defied all comets. You see where Secchi saw the comet coming in, particularly in the inner planets. You see exactly how they reacted differently. You saw one, 67P as it came in, had a nice little tail, had a split tail. Then you saw one of the Kreutz comets coming in and how the wind was, the tail was affected by the solar wind. Well, the thing that always amazed me was what the world was McNaught. Now, this is, I believe, Earth, because Venus and Mercury come in a little. I'm just going to let it play through. Now, that's a comet. That's a comet of all comets. And I'm going to stop here. So you can see the Birkeland current, right, coming down right off of Earth. And we're going to just advance this a little bit, because when we start seeing the first vestiges as McNaught came in, and it was only visible in the southern hemisphere, the pictures I've seen people that have taken, wow, it took up like a third of the sky. I guess you don't remember hearing about that. Now you can see the sun is reacting. I mean, this is the sun over here. And as this comet is coming in, our sun, now look at the Birkeland current that overwhelms the optics on this camera. That is the comet itself right there. But this comet was different. I don't know what it was, but we see them all the time. Secchi, SDO. I mean, we can see these comets coming in, and nothing was like this one. I'll advance it again. Check it out. As it gets brighter, look at the freaking look at the Birkeland current over here on Earth. This one here, and folks, we're talking tens of millions of miles here. These are no small time events. Look how it comes in, and it begins to affect everything. And look at this. We can't even see the comet. This one, and look what it's doing to the Earth. Now things are really getting active. Folks, the density, this is Earth. This is us. We fit inside this many, many, many times over. And it's not just the spatial dispersion of the camera. The camera is just merely looking out into space, what it's seeing. And here it's coming in. It's just absolutely overwhelming, the optics on this. We're seeing, whether you want to call this a afterglow effect, maybe, and I look at all possibilities, maybe the lens is distorting, because this object here is off the chart, folks. It is just freaking off the charts. And I'm doing it into single frame so you can see for yourself how this is just the amount of energy that's being displayed here is mind-boggling. Look at that. It has completely eliminated, with whether we want to call that a current, whether we want to call it a sheet, whether we want to call it just the optics being overwhelmed with light. But remember, it looks at the sun. So, we're looking at something brighter than the sun. How many of y'all remember this? And look at this. As a philosopher, that looks like a wing to me. Comets don't do this, at least not to this scale. And you can see that things are going on down here. Again, we should be seeing at least another, I would say another quarter, maybe a fifth of the screen. And look at this. I mean, to grasp the distance on this, and look at, you can see the Earth's current on the back, on the front of this thing. I mean, this is absolutely off the charts. And if comets are harbingers of ill coming to the Earth, well, then you have to look at this one. And here's our sun. Here's the sun. You know, it's trying to still get to it. And Earth is about to be immersed, not physically. The distances were too far. But as far as where the satellite was looking at, Earth was about to be inundated with this. And here's Venus coming in. Mercury is right behind here. And look at that. Just absolutely magnificent. Just, folks, the distance on this, it still blows my mind every time I see this event. And the Earth is just, and what happened in 2007? It was weird weather, a lot of strange stuff going on. This is the sun reacting now to the passing of the comet. And then everything goes normal. Wild, isn't it? I know it is. I'm going to give you the positive photons on this one. This one is going to blow your mind. It's the same thing, just again, looking at negative and positive charged particles. And I love this one because the Earth is just a spectacular, you know, you fall in love with things when you see a certain beauty from a certain perspective. That's Earth, folks. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, we don't see, and watch it, how it just, look at this. It's, Yellow Rose did a lot of things back in the day on this. This is, call it what it is. So watch as the comet comes in. Is that not just mind-blowing? I'll stop it again. So here it comes in. Look at what it's doing to the optics. I mean, again, positive, negative particles. It's overwhelming it. Look at that. Here's the comet itself. I mean, it was a big sucker. And look at what this, whether you want to call this an anomaly. I mean, if it's a lens anomaly distortion, it's got 3D to it, depth. Look at that. It's the peak when it's coming in. And just check this out. I've looked at this, and the other conclusion I've come to, but if that is true, then this is off the freaking scale. I said, well, what if this is just merely a negative impression of what the camera is being overwhelmed with, that is in fact the core of the comet? Hey, you got to look at these things. And if it is, well, the Earth is just obviously just completely overwhelmed here. But, you know, taken with the light distortions, but it has depth. This is the strange thing. And you can see it has depth. It actually looks like it's actually shedding light, mass, something. And here's another one. Here you can see it becomes even more pronounced. You can actually see the stream coming off. And again, negative, positive. Look at this. And this is when the cosmic ray particles are just freaking off the scale. I mean, it's just, and you can see the particles. The camera is catching them. And they're huge. I mean, there's distortions of light. Everything else in this one frame is just amazing. Here is what we would call the central passing. And again, if this is a distortion of the camera, well, now we're getting, the fact that the positive and negative particles in this are contaminating what you would say the anomaly. Don't think so. Look at that. Just absolutely mind-blowing. No comet that I've seen since then has ever been recorded like this. And I think I know I went a little bit over on this, but folks, come on. Look at that. It's a sight to behold, particularly when you slow it down and you see how the frames are picking this up. Look at this. It's just absolutely. My question is, did this leave behind a heavy debris field? By that, I mean dust. And is our sun now enwrapped in this dust? Is this adding to the potential woes of, and you can just see the particles, folks. This is what we're looking at. And in the wake, it's just, and then it departs. I don't know. Maybe you don't find this as fascinating, but I find it to be mesmerizing. Now, I have another shot of this from the outer planet's point of view when it was pointing out to show you that how it comes across. And give me 1 second. I told you I was driving the bus, but I know where I'm going, so it's cool. All right, so here's another one. Look at that. It just goes to show you how intense this whatever you want to call it is. It's phenomenal, and we loved it. We did. It was amazing. Now, I want to show you. I have some other things, but I'm trying to put this in here in the proper order. So allow me as he comes in. So anyway, there you go. You have to admit that was an event, and it makes you wonder, okay, so what else is going on? Remember when we did this one? Let me see if I can pull this one up. Yeah. Remember when we went through this one, Project Aquarius? And in this document, when we went through it, we found out a different note that, it wasn't Area 51. It is actually S4, which is 12 miles south of Area 51, of where the real jewels of the Space Force is kept at. The Space Force, folks, has been around for quite a while. It started way back in the day. These guys, we read about them and what they were actually doing. They worked there. They apparently were able to bring out, this is Janet Airlines. Back in the day when I was doing a lot of business in Las Vegas, whether it was at, the MGM or Mandalay Bay or whatever, and if you had a room that faced towards the airport, that these old 737 200s, they fly quite the first 2.5 hours of the morning. By 9 o'clock, 9:30, their flights are done. and then they start coming in about 3:30 and go to about 5:30. And these are the employees that are taking them up there. We see it all the time. Oddly enough, there's some strange stories in here. Go back and look at it. I did the whole video, but what we found out here was that there was a lot going on in S4. They say that they have the looking glass device there, that this is the place where, decontamination takes place, reverse engineering. This is the captured UFO that we have. Russians have them. Apparently, I don't know what's up with these guys, that they're not that good of pilots, or there's just atmospheric differences, or interdimensionally something's going wrong. By the way, if you have a pass and you're coding whatever your card is, you do not cross red or blue lines. So this is where supposedly the guard is. Now, these are the hangars. There is the silver disc that people, particularly in the late 40s and 50s, were very familiar with. This one is P-45. This is the J-Rod craft in Hangar Bay 1. By the way, this is considered the sport model. They know of these J-Rods. They've got them. Again, this is one that is camouflaged. Looks to me to be a TR. We're going to look at that here in a second. I think this technology has been reversed engineered, and I think these are flying now. I don't think there's anything. We see the Russians and Americans, and now the Chinese, cloak technology. This is, I think, the F-22. Here's another one of the crafts. This one is from Orion. This is called the P-52K. That one is empty, bays 5 and 9. This is a man-made P-24 called, taken from one of the Roswell crashes. This one is apparently very top secret, just that the tarp is black. Here is our licorice drop, as they call. Is this part of the triangle crafts that we're seeing? So, as we went through here, we found out that there's a lot of stuff. They're training pilots. This is the launching device that actually propels the saucers out. When they capture one, apparently they still do, they have a whole decom. They work. This is how the saucers work. We know the technology. Apparently it's not that top secret, but of course people would poo-poo it and say, well, that can't happen. Well, there's a lot that we don't know about. We have film of people living in Nevada and other places nearby of flatbeds carrying, interesting objects underneath there. So this goes into, this is the looking glass. And it gets into the whole fact that we can see the future. There it is right there. It doesn't predict the future. What it merely shows is, in a quantum reality, the unlimited potential and possibilities of future events. You can then apparently take from a particular point that you saw, and you can try to manipulate it. But anyway, so there we go. That one, I don't know. You make up your own mind on that. I kind of look at it and think, well, it kind of makes sense to me. So when we talk about the TRs, let me pull something up here on, give me 1 second here. To talk amongst yourself, get yourself another cup of coffee if you like, and I'll be with you here in a second. Okay, so let's go to the TRs. Here we go. So I'll pull these up and just share them with you because when you start putting all this together, folks, and you begin to look at this, you go, maybe there's more to this. So this is the TR3B. I think we're up to D now. This was taken over area 51. It's also, as you will see, that this craft has also been filmed in cities in the Midwest, oddly enough. There is a very good side profile of the craft. You can see how its silhouette is very different. This has been the focus of a lot of conjecture. This is the power source. It says that this is what we can actually jump space-time. We have the technology. The videos are out there. This is the one where the craft is fully engaging the mechanism that will actually take us just, now I've read and heard that just under light speed. If we're at that advanced level, then we're doing pretty good. Here you go. You can see it. I wonder what the human beings on here must be feeling like. And you can see how the size of the, whatever that is, to the proportion of the craft. And here it's fully engaged. This is what happens. Notice that it's fully engaged into that. And then we get this. These crafts, they're here. Some are enormous. Again, these were and then here's the engine again. Whatever that is. You can see this apparently is a command tower. Who knows? Now you can see with all the stories of the people that have seen these lights. I just think that that is so bizarre to see that. So there you go. Take it for what you will. I find these to be fascinating in as much that there's something going on. I mean, obviously, we can see that. I want to pull another one for you so you can actually see what these crafts look like. Because there's just so many of them. And I just have some random pictures that I can show you. Again, these crafts are here. They've been here. This is pretty old technology, actually. Here is two. We've seen as many being recorded at one time. They apparently operate in 2s and 3s. Again, the same signature, each one of these crafts and whatever their propulsion systems are. Here's one. Now, oddly enough, that's a KC-9, I believe, or KC-10. That's a fuel tanker. Here's one of the experimental aircrafts, as you can see very clearly, using what they call the Aurora engines. More of the craft that we saw earlier. Here's another one. They said that they saw a lot of these in Iraq. I do believe they were, in fact, used in Iraq. I think this is the Netherlands, 2013. Again, we now know that these crafts can obtain speeds. And again, we see the inverse of what's going on here. This craft was recorded to literally jump into hyperspace. There it is, and then it's gone. Another side view, Syria. Many of our soldiers coming back from the wars over there have reported these crafts here. Again, I don't know what the call name on that is. Maybe someone is a little. Here's another one in operation. These are the schematics of apparently the basic technology. And again, they've been recorded all over the United States, Europe, Middle East, the moon. All have seen these, and they are very large. I'll pull this one up so you can just see. But, you know, you decide for yourself, boy, I didn't get to hardly anything about the rest of this. Well, we'll have to do this again another time. This is cool. Yeah, and I mean, we got some other good documents. Let me show you one in particular that I think you're going to find very interesting. There we go. This is a PDF I had that someone sent me, and it's been a while ago. And the thing about it is, it's very, very difficult to ascertain what is really being said, because this is how the document comes in. And what I really want to show you is, you know, this is obviously, as they would say, been heavily redacted. We know these ships, they have submitted these. This is part of that report. This one in here is really interesting. This is coming out of reference to the Bureau Bulletin number 42, series 1947, date July 30th, 1947. Talks about the recipient of these instructions. 2 incidences were called to the attention of the office concerning flying disc. One report was received July 7, 47, the details of which are set forth in the Milwaukee letter to the Bureau dated July 8th, 1947. And if you go through here, I mean, yeah, flying disc, I mean, it's almost as though there was an invasion that took place that no one was aware of. I mean, here's the FBI, you know, they're into this. They're now being brought into this. I mean, the reports are being shown up everywhere. Of course, you know, we've done the Sectarium Omega, where the meeting. So the Vatican knows about it. Everybody knows about it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. A little bit different, but and that's just a small little piece of what I actually had about 8 other things on my list to show you here, but it's the hour's over with. So listen, I'll see you tonight over there on Brian's channel, the Milky Way Messenger, and looking forward to that, Brian. Don't know what we'll be talking about, but I have a sense that we certainly will not be at a loss for words. Thank you, everybody. Have a strong end of the week. It's Friday. Enjoy the 2 days. If you have them off, enjoy them, and read, expand your mind, meditate, get in touch with yourself, and love yourself. That's the best thing to do. I appreciate all of you so much. You know, you enrich my life, and I thank you. It is an honor and a privilege that so many of you are a part of this, and it definitely goes noticed. So thank you so much. Hello, Mother Nature. How are you doing, Brandy? You're a fine girl. It's good to see you. So, all right, everyone, have yourselves a great time. We'll see you again real soon. All right, folks. Bye-bye.